Alrighty, here we have Hunter and Andrew getting their stuff ready. I have my backpack ready and in here, and Andrew's pack is over there. And we are fixing to head over to Montgomery Bell.
And didn't Jesus say that as well? I can't remember.
Alright, hopefully we're going to make it to camp so I can set up at least the first part of camp before dark, but probably not going to, so we'll see. Alright, I believe I found my tree, and since you guys were asking how I get up and how I pick my spot for my hammock and then how I set up my hammock, start off by getting my throw line set, and I'm going to use my jacket as a tarp so that it doesn't get tangled up whenever I'm shooting for the crotch. The slingshot with this bigger pouch is a lot easier to use. Oh, that was a bad shot. Again, bad shot. And that was absolutely dreadful. Alright, I guess I just had to not have the camera rolling in order to make the shot, but I finally made it over the crotch, so that was the 7th shot. I made 2 when the camera wasn't running, and I just eyeballed it instead of trying to aim, and it worked. Here we are. Alright. See how quickly I can do this. Always lock, check, handle, ascender, and put that on there. Take my foot loop, already have it adjusted for my height, and then I'm going to take my pulley, put on here, and put that up through there, and that is it. Ready to ascend. Oh, I love climbing. Man, this thing's strong. Gotta get creative. Here's your stick. There we go. This happens a lot when I'm climbing, where I have to go around something like this. So what I do is put my lanyard up there over that limb so that I have something to slack off onto. Open this up, push it over like that, and pull that. Retrieval. Looks beautiful. I wanted to cover something very important before you start to advance your line. Pull about 20 to 30 feet of rope up and then secure it to your harness, because if you're making an advancement throw and you drop your main climb line, you will get stuck, assuming you don't grab it before it falls. So keep the rope attached to yourself so that you have rope to work with, but if you drop it, you will not be stuck. Perfect shot in the first try. Tie a butterfly in the middle like that, so that in case it gets stuck on the way or whatever. Crap. Nope, you've got this. You can pull it right back down if you need to. Alright, so whenever I'm doing quick little ascents from one time point to the next, I don't usually put my pulley on. I'll just ascend like this to save time. This right here is the limb that I was initially wanting to go to, but now that I'm closer to it, as I suspected, it's dead. Do not ever go to a limb for your first anchor point unless you're absolutely sure that it's not dead. All right, I'm thinking this limb, I'm gonna get onto that for my main tie-in point.
Here we are getting ready to sit down to a delicious meal.
Making dessert.
Yes,
What are you putting in that?
I'm going to boil some mac water and make me some oatmeal. Look at that mac water. It's orange. Look at Hunter's green beans and macaroni.
Oh, yes.
Look at... Holy crap, it's a Bigfoot!
Got my sleeping bag and thermarest set up in my hammock, and I'm dangling over nothing for about 75 feet, and yeah, ready to settle in for the night. It's morning, and it is beautiful. No, I'm sorry, Arpeggio. I didn't mean to kill you.
I am just sitting here and thinking, how is it that someone could not enjoy such a view? And then I realize, most people would enjoy such a view. They just don't enjoy risking their lives for it. And that is where I realize I am different. Not because I am more driven, but because I am more willing to risk everything to do what I love.
Okay. Andrew, this is my favorite part of the morning. It's called the rope toss. Hopefully it won't tangle this time. Woo! Ah, there's my extra socks. I started to put these on last night and then realized I can't really maneuver enough in my sleeping bag to do that. So I just warmed up my feet under my knee pits and they were okay for the rest of the night. Oh, and he makes a slam dunk! Okay, so my sleeping bag, it's pretty dry at this point because I've been chilling up here for a while, but always dry it out after use just to make sure. And and now we're lowering. Oh, thanks, Mark. No, I don't need it. Looks sturdy. Okay, thank you for tangling rope. My rope is right at 75-ish feet. Just a little bit less because I had to go around that, but negligible amount. Okay. Now, oh lordy. And you guys are asking how I set up my hammock. This is exactly how I did it, just in reverse. It's a little harder to set up than to take down, but not too much. And then that's how I get that taken down. I mean, set up. Okay, straps. Okay, so I'm going to take the other strap from its spot. And alright, so I'm going to put this back on my loop back here. You guys made me breakfast. Thank you, honey. Thank you, Andrew. Okay, the very first time I've ever submerged this. Wow. Alrighty, came upon the railroad track. Gonna cut through to get over the area we need to be in. We've made it, lads.
It's been great.
It's been really great.
The Great
Look at
Iron
me.
Road.
I'm alive. Everyone's alive.
Not dead yet. Don't want to go on the car.
We're in a beautiful pinewood area now. Been hiking through here for a little while. Alright, there are 2 trees here with an absolutely massive spread at the top. I think I might be able to get about 90 feet up into that one behind the oak. Need a perfect shot, and then this happened, so gonna have to redo it. Well, this certainly complicated matters, but managed to get it. That was probably the highest I've ever had my initial tie-in point. Alright, making the first few moves off the ground to about an 80-foot ascent. This right here is why it was so difficult to get my throw line up, because I kept getting caught on little bitty stuff. But here I am at the first limb. I am almost to my first tie-in point. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I have never been this high on the first limb. Beautiful. All right, I am just getting up here to my second tie-in point. The sun over there, sunset. Oh, it's more beautiful than I could have imagined. Boom. Oop. There's an example of why you tie your rope off to yourself, because if you drop that lead and you haven't, you are not going to have a good day. All right, it held. All right, I believe I'm about 100 to 110 feet off the floor, depending on which side of the declivity you're on. Well, I guess if it depends on which side, then it could be an acclivity. Yeah. Okay, so since many people have asked me how I set up my hammock, I'm gonna see if I can do a quick little walkthrough of how I do it. I knew this tree wouldn't have any problems with points where I could put it, so I just went ahead and climbed up as high as I could possibly get. but I always pretty much look to make sure either it's going to be easy or to make sure there's at least one spot to put my hammock and then climb to that point. So I'm going to go in between this limb and this one, and if that doesn't work out, then I'm going to attempt a different one, but hopefully that'll work, because I want to go into this spot because I believe I'll be up over 100 feet. If you remember how I packed my hammock, I left one strap on top so that I could do this. But Jordan, wouldn't it be safer to go to the bigger limb? Well, maybe, but not necessarily. It doesn't really make much of a difference in this case, but this one's also farther away from that limb, so I have my reasons. Okay, once I get one of my straps into position, then I go ahead and attach the first side of the hammock to it, do a little loop-de-loop like that, and then put the carabiner through it, tighten it up, and then pull, and that'll stay all night until you need to get it back off again. Whoa. Yeah. And you can see my hammock is going to be perfect right here. Okay, so you want to get your hammock as level as possible, and doing so may be a little tedious, but trust me, it's worth it for the night's sleep you're gonna get. This is the highest I've ever been in a tree. This is also the highest I've ever hung my hammock in a tree. Or is it hanged? I don't know. I'm sure my super smart girlfriend would know. All right, the reason I do a structural ridge line is so that I can get consistent sag. And whenever you do so, you're gonna wanna tighten these straps as tight as you can get them, so that this is as tight as it can be, so that you'll have that perfect sag. Down, Lord, I can sit down. This side's a little lower. Okay, one thing I like to do is kind of cheat whenever I'm setting this up. If I've already got my hammock set up, then I can use the strap to put myself to places I need to be easier, more easily, whatever. Okay, getting this nice and tight again. There we go. Now, you see it's higher. Whenever I get in it, I can feel the whole tree swaying. It is absolutely wonderful. All right, attempted rope toss. Woo! Huh, that worked. Back on this first monster limb. Wow. This is kind of where we run into problems. My face. He's the rootin'est, tootin'est cowboy in the Wild, Wild West. Woody's Roundup. Hey, that was a much more graceful landing than this morning.
Good morning, everybody. I have no idea what time it is because I don't have my phone with me, and I don't have my watch either, but it is still very cold. My sleeping bag is covered in water, and I'm about to head down and rejoin the others.
All right, just about packed up. Hunter's over there playing with my slingshot. Getting ready to head the trail back to the vehiculars. All right, you guys, let's get on the trail and start headed back.
Yeah.
Top quality bridge. It's even got a nice big tree on it. Beautiful. At long last, we have made it back to the vehicular.
We're alive.
And smelly.
A wee bit.
Goodbye, nature.